What it's Scooby. Welcome back to After the Snap and Stream Something Sunday. It is Stream Something Sunday. Oh, so same thing, same format. We don't have to go over all the formalities of things, correct? You guys know what you're here for. We're here to discuss streaming series, do a little recap together, a little discussion. We're gonna float some theories. That's always a fun part of the show. Um, so yeah, you know that the series that we are covering are Hawkeye, The Wheel of Time, and Star Trek Discovery. We're gonna try a different order here today because some of my Star Trek Discovery fans like to come in a little later, and I want to give everybody a chance to talk about you what series is more important to you. Don't matter to me which order we go in. Uh, however, I do like to talk Star Trek first, but we're gonna try Hawkeye first today. So we know that this Hawkeye series on Disney Plus is slated for 6 episodes. This week's episode was Partners. Am I right? Am I right? So this was Partners. Am I right? And it is episode 4, which is telling us we can look forward to 2 more episodes, of course. But it also tells us that some of these big reveals have got to start happening. We've got some little surprises, and if you follow the MCU news as it becomes available, it wasn't really a huge surprise, but we know that we got Yelena Belova. Y'all know Yelena. That's Natasha's sister. Yeah, she showed up this week. We knew that it was going to happen, just didn't know when. And now we know. If you didn't know, now you know. We got oh we got Yelena in here, and I guess there's still questions. And we saw some pretty neat parallels in this episode. Look, we don't know who Uncle is yet. Okay, we know we're gonna get that eventually, but the stuff that was revealed subtly in this episode, we got to talk about it. And I don't have like a super review written or anything like that because this has been a week of unpreparedness. So loose conversation, this thing. But first, I want to put up I guess I need to put up a spoiler warning, huh? And that's it. That's your spoiler warning for the Hawkeye series. If you haven't watched all the way up to the 4th episode of Hawkeye, you might want to skedaddle because this week's episode set some things up. Now, I don't know who is a big MCU comics fan, but you saw some things in this episode that kind of circles all the way back to the comics, and I got theories. We can start with let's start with talking about what the synopsis for this episode is. Because the I mean, I guess it kind of spells out where we thought things was going to go, but let's talk about where things actually did go. Barton, remember we coming back into season 1, episode 4, where Clint Barton was at the end of a knife or a sword that Jack was holding. So now we thought Jack was going to be ready to take Clint's head off. At least I thought so. Or I thought, okay, this is where he's going to be revealed to be Jacques Duquesne from the comics. But I was like, okay, we were wrong. Well, if I was wrong, I don't know if you were wrong too. He didn't chop Clint's head off. That would have been a horrible end to the series. But he also didn't seem like a bad guy again. I've got some thoughts on Jack. But okay, so the situation gets diffused when Eleanor and Jack Duquesne recognize him as an Avenger. So Eleanor asked him to keep Kate out of his mess. You know, you lost your Black Widow, and she was a pro. Don't have my baby in this mess. But of course, right after she has that conversation with Hawkeye, she jumps right on the phone. Uh-oh, we got a problem. We got a problem. Now, we don't know who she's calling. There have been guesses that she called Uncle. Uh, I'm not 100% sure of that yet. I don't know how I feel about whether or not that was Uncle. Was it Val? Remember Contessa Val from, you know who I'm talking about, that hired Yelena to take out Clint? Could it have been that she was calling Val? Oh no, that remains to be seen. But we move on. With the help of Laura, his wife, Clint, it finds out that Jack Duquesne is the CEO of Sloan Limited, and that's that shell corporation that launders money for the tracksuit mafia. So here we find out again, Laura has got some resources. Clint's wife is a little too good with the telephone. So is his wife his man in the chair, person in the chair who kind of like gives him, okay, go this way, go that way? Is she that? Or could she be more? I got theories. But I'm going to continue with the synopsis here, tell you like the breakdown. Um, Also, after realizing that Hawkeye might be missing his family, we see Kate and him have a little Christmas party that she kind of throws for him to get him in like a festive spirit, to probably help him not get over the fact that he's not there with his family, but to help him just at least in this moment feel loved. She gave him a little love. So after she did that, she tells him that she knows that he's Ronin, or pretty much she asks him. She deduced it, and he said, "Yeah, you're right." Um, this was after she asked him what was the best shot. What was the best shot he ever took? Not the shot that he had to shoot to marry his wife Laura. We talking professional shot. What was your professional shot that you the best one? And he said that was the one I never took. And of course, we find out that he was talking about when he was sent to take out Natasha Romanoff years in the past, and he could not take the shot. Turns out that his instinct to not take the shot was right, because not only did Natasha Romanoff become a crucial asset to Shield, she also became his best friend. So there's that. Keep that in the back of your mind. We might come back to it. Okay, so later, Clint locates Kazi, and he asked him to talk to Maya, tell her she needs to stop looking for the Ronin. She just needs to stop. At the same time that he's shaking down Kazi, Kate is going to get the arrows from the LARPers. So now these LARPers strike a deal with Kate, and they decide that they're going to help be mutually beneficial. Gosh, my mouth already today. They decide they're going to be mutually beneficial to one another, and then by that I mean they're going to Kate is going to have costumes and the like made for them, while they use their insider on the police force to go get the shafts to Hawkeye's arrows, which makes sense because we have always thought that Hawkeye had an unlimited supply of arrows in that quiver, until just like to the point where, damn, how many arrows can you fit in that thing? So this time we see that they have to go collect the shafts of these arrows, and excuse me, they have to go collect the shafts of these arrows because he's out of the shafts. All he has is the heads to the arrows. Okay, so that just answered a question that some people would see as a plot hole. Like, how is it that he continues to have arrows when we watched him shoot damn near all the arrows? So I like the fact that they included that in there. Laura texts Clint. So Laura, being Clint's wife, she texts him and tells him, hey, that watch that we're looking for, it was stolen by the Tracksuit Mafia. And it's sending out a tracking signal. This is a special kind of watch, right? It's sending out a tracking signal from this apartment. And she gave him an address, so we know that the big ass showdown is going to happen at that apartment. I got lots of thoughts too, Reinhardt. So Clint Barton, Kate Bishop, they go to retrieve that watch, and they find out that that watch is in Maya's apartment. So where she also keeps notes on Barton's family, and I'm like, I wonder how she knows of his family. Anywho, Lopez, that's Maya. She attacks Kate Bishop, and then at the same time that she's attacking Kate in her apartment, Clint is being ambushed by a masked villain on a rooftop. So here's this fight between Barton and Bishop, and then Maya Lopez and the assassin. And the fight gets it was a little lopsided, because while while Maya and that masked assassin knew who they were coming for, they have no idea. Kate and Clint have no idea who this extra player is, who they're fighting against. Turns out that Kate Bishop is a pretty damn good shot, because in the fight with Maya, she gets off an arrow, hits her in the shoulder. Good for her, because she did a Hawkeye move. She didn't take a kill shot. She hit her in the shoulder. Maya lives to fight another day. She scurried off. And then Clint realizes after seeing the masked assassin use the widow's bite. Once he saw that happen, he knew, we got a damn Black Widow assassin. I got to get this girl safe. Talking about Kate, because now we got way bigger problems than just these little truster bros, the Tracksuit Mafia. So he kind of like tells Kate, I don't like you. I never liked you. So she would just keep it moving. She would get upset and leave the fight and hopefully not come back, because he is trying to keep her safe. And we realized that the assassin that Clint was fighting turned out to be shit just got real for real. The assassin that he was fighting turned out to be Yelena Belova, who of course is the sister of Natasha Romanoff. So now we're all caught up as far as the events. I'm glad you're here, Reinhardt, because now we can deconstruct this thing, starting from the beginning. In the beginning, with Jack holding the sword to Barton's neck. This is where I thought, oh, we're going to find out that he's the swordsman. These two know each other from the past, and we're going to find out a little bit more about Clint Barton's training and all of this stuff. But nope, that's not the way they went. And because they didn't go that way, because of how Jack has seemed to be a really nice guy, kind of seems, a little misunderstood, a little funny, but he seemed like to be a nice guy, or at least that's the way they are portraying him. So I'm thinking, what if we lean into that? What if Jack isn't a bad dude? What if Jack really does like Eleanor Bishop and really does want to marry her? And we are reading far more into Jack and his character than needs to be there. But then I realize, or then we find out that Jack is the CEO of Sloan Limited. So it's like, okay, He's the CEO of Sloan Limited, which means he's the person who is who Kazi is working for, which means that he's over the tracksuit mafia. But does that really mean it? Because what I think that means is that Armand, the one who died, remember Armand Duquesne, the one who was killed in the first guy, he owned everything. He owned a lot, and everything was going to go to Jack when he died. So now let's say Armand dies and he is the head of the crime family, but Jack is his heir. So now Jack is the heir who inherited his uncle's properties and everything. So maybe Jack doesn't even know that he's the CEO of this company, because now that Armand has died, Jack became the CEO. Get what I'm saying? That he was never part of this organization. Jack only inherited this organization. He has no idea what Sloan Limited is. So that is my theory on Jack. I'm going to go over here to Reinhardt's comment real quick. In the comic book, the swordsman is kind of an anti-hero. He's not a bad guy, but he's not necessarily a good guy. Right, but he also, in the comics, he trained Clint way back. So the fact that those two didn't recognize each other when they walked in, when he came realize who he had at the end of his sword, that's what made me think to myself that's what made me think to myself, this is what is making Jack different than the Jack Duquesne in the comic books. The fact that he doesn't know who Hawkeye is. But we do know that he's related to Armand Duquesne, who was the head of a crime family who was killed. Jack was his heir, so he now owns all of the shares or whatever of Sloan Limited, this shell corporation. That's why he's listed as the CEO. Then we see Eleanor, going back to the beginning, asking Clint to not have Kate involved in his mess. I got a theory on that too, Reinhardt. We're gonna put that there so I can remember not to come back to it. So Eleanor asked Clint to keep her daughter out of his mess, and then she makes that phone call. I still don't have a clue. I'm trying to figure if it's uncle that she was calling, or if it was somebody else entirely. Maybe Yelena, maybe somebody who we haven't even seen yet, like the power broker or somebody who, I don't know who she called, but we know that makes her look even more shady. So what I was thinking about Laura is that Jack loves Eleanor. Jack loves Eleanor, but Eleanor, all she wanted was to consolidate these crime families, so that when now she has Armand killed, when her and Jack get married, she becomes the head of two families in this crime organization. Did I say Yelena, or did I meant Val? If I said Yelena, I meant Val. Yeah, I meant when she made that phone call, she was either calling uncle, she was calling Val, or she was calling question mark. But it just makes me look at her level of shadiness that much more. She's a shady individual, in my opinion. So Laura knows an awful lot. Now, Laura is Clint's wife. All of these names. Laura is Clint's wife. And Laura showed us that she has some investigative skills, that she might even have some espionage skills. We've been seeing things kind of lead to her having some type of training to do the things that she's doing from her house. So my theory with Laura is that she was once a SHIELD agent, that she worked alongside Clint. She worked alongside Clint during the beginning of the Black Widow days, that she has this relationship with them. But when her and Clint decided to get married, this is a theory. When she and Clint decided to get married, she decided to come out of the game. That's the way it looks to me. And that she and Natasha were close enough where she doesn't have any, she don't feel any kind of way about Hawkeye and Natasha's partnership over the years, because she understands what it's like to be a SHIELD agent. So let me know what you think about that. Reinhardt said, well, do you want me to give you the 411 on Laura? Because it's from the comic, and I'm not sure they're even going to go that way. I think it's the whole Mockingbird thing. I think that she is going to be Mockingbird in this series, but then that she retired because her and Clint got married. And the reason why I'm leaning towards the Mockingbird thing is because there were parallels from the show to the comics, but it wasn't something that was implicitly stated. So what are you thinking, Reinhardt? Do you think that they're going in the Mockingbird direction as well? Oh, there you go. You answered that quick. So, yes. Now, another question. The way Clint described who that watch belongs to. He said the watch belongs to a friend who's been out of the game for a while. And if that watch is found, it's going to point to him and then bye-bye friend. So now we know that Clint has a lot of people that he could be talking about. But the one person that I expected that he would be talking about is Nick Fury. And the reason I say it is because in universe, Nick Fury is supposed to be dead. He was supposed to have gotten killed in Winter Soldier, Captain America the Winter Soldier. So if the watch is found, they're going to realize that possibly that Nick Fury is still alive. Now, I don't know, Reinhardt. Tell me if who you were thinking about this watch, who you attaching the watch to. I see a lot of people attaching the watch to Clint's wife, and that could be also the case, but it looked like a man's watch. It doesn't, if it was a female SHIELD agent wearing that vintage Rolex watch and it's a male watch, it kind of stands out. Then you're going, it looks a little too bawdy. You can't hide anything on a delicate woman's wrist with this male watch. But if that watch belonged to Nick Fury, that would be a reason why they're trying to get it back. So I don't know. Let me know, Reinhardt, who you think that watch belonged to. Let me see. And then the fights. Oh, Reinhardt said he thinks that the watch belongs to somebody that we don't even know yet. He thinks it's a misdirect. We're gonna see, because there's like one of three ways that it could go. It can go to, my theory, which is somebody like Nick Fury. It could go to that watch belongs to Uncle, who we are all assuming. I'm thinking we're all on the same page that Uncle is going to be Kingpin, but we'll see. And then the third is that this watch doesn't even matter. It is a misdirect. So those are probably the three biggest theories right now, or maybe four even, because some people are saying that the watch belongs to Laura. So the four choices would be the watch belongs to Laura Barton, the watch belongs to Uncle, the watch belongs to Nick Fury, or the watch is a complete misdirect. So let me know in the comments, in the chat, out of those four choices, which would you choose? Reinhardt also says, I take that back. What I actually mean is maybe somebody we've seen or met before, but I don't think it's something that just automatically will come to your mind. And that is possible. But damn, they introducing so much stuff at the end of this series. Like it characters and who we think we might see should be introduced slowly throughout the series. And we shouldn't get a big player that just get dropped in episode 5 when we only got 6 episodes. So let me know what you think about that. What was that? Where was I going? On the rooftop, the fight between Kate and Yelena mirrored exactly what Clint said happened between him and Natasha. And that is, Kate had the shot, but so Kate being Hawkeye, because she is going to be Hawkeye, Kate had the shot on Black Widow, and Black Widow is Yelena, but she couldn't take it. So it was a neat little parallel to the story of how Clint and Natasha met, and then here we are with the new Hawkeye and the new Black Widow meeting under the exact same type of circumstances. Also, there was a million times, I think, that if Yelena was just being cold-hearted and bloodthirsty, that she could have killed Kate. She didn't kill her. So, in fact, and I don't know, in fact, it looked like she did something to soften Kate's landing. She had one of those cords that she wrapped around Kate when Kate went over the side of the building. Kate wasn't going to fall because Yelena didn't push her off to kill her. She pushed her off to get her out the way. Okay. And also also Maya, I don't know. Oh, let me see, Reinhardt, what you got here. You said you're right about that being a parallel to Clint and Natasha, but did you realize that the arrow she shot, that the arrow with those are the most non-lethal arrows he has? Yeah, but she could have shot her, period. Because all she was just trying, I mean, she could have did the same thing to her that she did to Maya, but she didn't shoot her at all. She shot Maya in the shoulder. She didn't shoot Kate at all. He said he doesn't want to kill people anymore. He could have killed any of those tracksuits idiots anytime he wanted to. Like he told Kazi, this is your last warning. Yeah. But that's what I mean. We noticed that from like you said, first fight, all of his shots that he took were to be just to impair you, not to kill you. And wait a minute, I see. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Okay. The arrow that she shot Maya with, those were the most non-lethal weapons that he has, right? And she put that arrow in Maya's shoulder too. She wasn't trying to kill Maya, but she did want to slow her down. She wanted to get her off of them. But I really do see the parallel between that and what's her name? Natasha and Clint and Kate and Yelena, because she could have took a non-lethal shot at Yelena, and but she couldn't even take that shot. So I think that's how they're going to have their friendship formed the exact same way that Clint and Natasha did. Of course, we know they're going to get back together. The little partners, Kate and Clint, they're going to get back together because we've already seen previews for next week's episode. Oh gosh. We've already seen previews for next week's episode, so we know they're gonna get back together. But those are the thoughts that I have. Of course, they say that next week's episode is gonna break the internet, which means that whoever Uncle is probably gonna be revealed next week. And I hope they don't pull no Ralph Boner on us. I hope Uncle does turn out to either be Kingpin or anybody anybody except for somebody just silly. Oh, Reinhardt said, "Can I just say that actor that plays Kazi, that boy has some charisma. You like him? Let me see, Kazi. Kazi in Hawkeye. I don't know his name. Free, Frothy. I have heard. No, where have I heard of his name before? He's up. Is he a fighter or something? From the UK. He's Irish. He's an Irish actor and singer known for playing Kufarak in Tom Hooper's film adaptation of Les Miserables. So he's been around for a little while too. Yeah, I I like what he's done with his character. And Fruffy, I wonder if he's going to turn out to be just a special friend to Maya, because they've been friends, it seems, for years. If you go by the fact that he was the little boy, the smaller boy that she kind of fought in when she was going to karate school, Maya. So they probably have just been friends forever and ever and ever. And he's the only person who has taken the time to communicate with her over the years. That's been her friend, her road dog for years. Um, but yeah, that's all I got for Hawkeye. Let me see. I can't. You said, okay, I must say this. I think, I don't know what you're saying here. This one, I'm lost, Reinhardt. You must say that you think him and Maya are straight up a thing. You think that him and Maya are a thing. And because, I don't know, because I wouldn't know this part if you wouldn't have just told me about about the young man. But he's openly gay in real life. So to me, I think he might be I think it might be leaning towards them being a thing, but I think it might be revealed they're not romantic. Because a lot of times they don't want straight actors to play gay characters. So are they okay with gay actors playing straight characters? We'll talk about that another day. But he is gay, so uh and yep, that's it. That's all. That's it for Hawkeye. Unless you got something else, Mr. Reinhardt, because you keeping me going. While I'm waiting to see if Reinhardt has anything else, I'm going to pose the question to you. This is your time to shine. You get down in those comments. You tell us what you're watching. What you watching? Let me know in the comments. I told you guys last week that the what I was watching was Harlem. I finished that on out. So that'll be a conversation that we'll do one day about the series Harlem, because I did like it. Even though, God, I don't know why. I am still trying to figure out why I liked that movie as much. I mean, that series as much as I did. And then, of course, we watching the shows that are on the marquee, the Wheel of Time and Discovery and Hawkeye. I wanted to put past everybody. What do you plan? Do you guys want to do Peacemaker on Stream Something Sunday? Are we going to be discussing Peacemaker on Stream Something Sunday? The only way we are is if you guys vote yes or no. I don't have a feeling either way. Reinhardt also said, "Oh yeah, I got something else. The people who are writing this show are doing a phenomenal job. But why do people keep trying to compare the Marvel shows on Disney Plus? Oh, they're trying to compare them with one another." You said, if you're asking why are they trying to compare these shows with one another, I don't know, because I could care less. Like we everybody is watching. If you like it, you like it. You're gonna watch it. I could care less what they comparing it to. I don't know if they like comparing Loki to WandaVision and WandaVision to Falcon and Falcon to. I don't know if that's going on. People, you said to me, each show is awesome and it's in its own way, and I get it. To human nature, I guess, to compare stuff. I love each show for what it brings. Instead of getting 1 2.5 hour movie, we're getting 6 hours of content. They can really bless these characters. They can really flesh these characters out. Excuse me. I agree with that. You got an opportunity to tell a story with underutilized characters. In the case of Hawkeye, underutilized in the greater MCU. We get to see more of him. We get to know more of the story behind him, and we get introduced to the person who is going to be taking on the mantle from there. So, yeah, I don't care what these people. You'll lose your mind trying to keep up with these doggone people and how they're gonna compare. And I've been silent on the way that they are coming for Letitia Wright. I'm like, none of us know these people. We don't know Letitia Wright. So they keep trying to get into these people's head and trying to tell us what folks are thinking. I'm just leaving all that mess alone. It's too negative. We having fun with the show. If we are having fun with the show here, and this is the only place in the world that we're having fun, this is where I want to be. I don't want to be around the people who got nothing but negativity. If it's a negative thought, and you just don't have to watch the show. Reinhardt also said, you would have thought that I have $1,000 phone, that $1,000 phone did the voice software recognition would be better, period. And I'm actually speaking at a slower rate of speech than I would normally use. It's okay. We know technology catch a little attitude every now and then too. So nobody want to share with me besides you. Nobody wants to share with me what they're watching before we move on. Gosh, can't talk. Because if you don't, we're going to move on to the Wheel of Time. Wheel of Time is, and I really wish that Clarence and them would have been here for this one, but we can't. I guess like D got to work and all of this. These are the people that are watching it. We're gonna just run through the Wheel of Time real quick. But if you are joining right now in the middle of everything and you have not watched up to episode 6 of Wheel of Time, you might want to bounce. We are going to discuss the Wheel of Time, or I'm going to see what this comment was first. Oh, Reinhardt, he said you haven't seen the latest episode, but go ahead and do what you do. You're gonna stay. Oh my goodness, I don't know. I do not know, but I am gonna talk about it because last week I think I didn't talk too much about it because and there are some people who join later. Hey, Dreamwalker on lunch break. Turns out you did catch the video. See, and this is the one time that I decided to put Discovery last. So I don't know how long your break is, Dreamwalker. But right now we're going into Wheel of Time. Wheel of Time. You know what? No, since Dreamwalker is here and he on break, and you decided to join me on your lunch break, we're gonna talk Discovery right now. But I gotta pull up my stuff for Discovery because I wasn't going to do Discovery, but I got you here, and I think this is the time to do it as soon as I can find it. You said it's long enough. Good. We're gonna talk. We're gonna talk Discovery as soon as like I say, as soon as I finish. I'm flexible. We can go into Discovery right now. In fact, let me change the banner. Star Trek Discovery. We are on season 4. Was it episode 4? Season 4, episode 4. All is Possible was the name of this thing. And let me get me. So I didn't give you a rating on that Hawkeye episode. On a 5-point scale, I get at a 4.5 out of 5. It was nearly perfect. The only thing I didn't like about it is that I didn't find out the answers to the questions that I had. Yeah, it was a pretty decent episode. So that is a 4.5 out of 5 for good old Hawkeye. And this episode of Star Trek Discovery was pretty darn good as well, man. Of course, I don't want to give away all of my feelings right up front. You guys know that I can be a little harsh, but I do know that this season has given us some ish to look forward to. In that it is giving us, I guess it's giving us a little bit more of other people, not enough still to me. And it's given us a little departure here and there from just all of the rush, because I was starting to feel, okay, why we're in such a hurry with going in through this series as far as trying to figure out what this gravitational anomaly is, or the DMA. I got some comments up here. Let me see what that is. Hey, Lysandra, welcome to the show. We're just getting ready to start talking about Star Trek Discovery. We talked about Hawkeye first today. So Star Trek Discovery, season 4, episode 4. Tilly and Adira lead a team of Starfleet Academy cadets on a training mission, and that mission takes a dangerous turn. And meanwhile, Burnham is pulled into tense negotiations on Navarre. The way this episode started out, I thought that it was going to just like right out the gates confirm what I thought about President Tarina last week, which I felt like she was up to something. That's the way I feel. I felt like she lied to Book. But after rewatching that scene that I was talking about in last week's episode, I did realize that what I saw as blue was actually part of the dash on Book's ship. That's the way it looks. The lights were reflecting off of his ship. So maybe I'm reading her wrong. It wouldn't be the first time that I read a character wrong. Because last year, I had beef with Admiral Vance and Kovich all season. And now this year, it seems like they're some pretty nice guys. This season, they're some pretty good guys. We got to see Kojit. Dreamwalker said the future is always blue. Okay. Yeah, there's no reason, I guess, for me to be hating on Kovich and Admiral Vance unless they make a turn. They seem like to be some good dudes. President Rillick even seemed to be a good chick, even though, again, she knows how to play that political game. Doesn't she? She said, I want Saru and Burnham to replace Admiral Vance because he's sick. In these negotiations, she knew exactly what Burnham and Saru would do in the situation, and she used them. She used them like pawns. Yes, she did, but it was a political maneuver. Now, of course, Burnham, she did realize, okay, this is a political. She's playing politics with us. That's when her and Saru put their little plan together. But yeah, she played a political pawn game with Saru and Burnham. So I like the fact that this lady is thinking 10, 12 steps ahead. President Tarina was given, had we find out, gave gave what is her name? Gave Rillick the 411. She was like, hey, the rest of the people on our board do not want to join the Federation unless they put this clause in. So to just in a good faith effort to look like everybody got a little bit of something, they went this whole circuitous route to get to the point where Navarre is joining the Federation. So yay. We saw something come to fruition. We had saw the seeds planted for last season, which is a definite interest between Saru and President Tarina. So that would also be, when you think about, okay, Hawkeye, we were talking about power moves with Kate Bishop and Jack Duquesne. This would be a power move if Saru and President Tarina get together and become a couple, because I'm saying it'd be a power move because you got Kaminar and the Federation. They would, I mean, Kaminar and Navarre would be a force to be reckoned with in the galaxy if those two were somehow intertwined by their leaders. So that's another thing to look at, I think. In the meantime, before, after, while all of this was going on, we have Culber. We see him settling into his role as a counselor on the ship. So he's not only a medical officer, he's a counselor. And as this counselor, he had to give some advice to Tilly. And one of the things that they wanted her to do last week was to shake her day up, her routine up a little bit, to see if that is what was making her feel kind of uncomfortable or out of place in this future society. But what really, so when he talked to Tilly, he was like, hey, Kovich has this mission. It's an away mission with some cadets. It might be another way for you to clear your mind and have a little fun and, do something different. So she takes that mission. We also see Culber counseling Book. And of course, even though Book has had the mind meld with President Tarina last week, he seemed to be a little bit more at peace with what happened to Quajon. But grief is, there's no textbook way to grieve, because one week you feel like I'm just fine and I can move forward with my life, and then the next week you'll be like, oh, I'm right back to square one. I miss whomever or whatever that was. And in this case, Book is back in grief mode. You said, what other Star Trek doctors were counselors? The doctor on Voyager was, right? They didn't have a ship's counselor on Voyager. Oh yeah, he did. He did some counseling with like when he did do his little counseling with 7 of 9 and that kind. So yeah. Um the cat doctor on I would not trust the cat doctor on lower decks as no counselor. No, she will tell you something that you better not listen to. Don't do it. She does not have the disposition. She's kind of like McCoy. I, you know, Kirk might have leaned heavily on McCoy for advice and that sort of thing, but I wouldn't let McCoy be the person to give everybody on the ship advice on how to navigate through life. They just don't have the disposition for it. I think Julian Bashir would have did a fantastic job. Um, of course, we saw. I even think Beverly Crusher. If we didn't have Troy, I believe that. Hey, D, I don't. I think if we didn't have Troy, I would think that Beverly Crusher would have been an excellent ship's counselor. I cannot remember. Uh, yeah, no other time that the doctor really served as a counselor, and that was part of their resume. But Yeah, good question, Dreamwalker. But so we saw Culber put on the counselor's hat and know exactly what to say. But when he and Book were talking, and Book asked him, "So what about you? Do you have any secrets?" And this far away, distant look went over Dr. Culber, and he said yes, and but nothing that he's gonna share right now, or something to that effect. I can't remember. So it makes me wonder, are we going to have Culber revisiting the shit that happened to him in season one of Discovery? I don't think we saw like a brief resolution on screen, but we never dug into really what the hell that had to be like for Culber. So hopefully we give him some layers instead of just being Mr. Support. I'm supporting Stamets and I'm supporting Adira and I'm supporting everyone. We need to see who supports him. Reinhardt said, "I love the president. She's one of my favorite characters on the show this season." Which president? The president of the Federation or the president of Navarre? Tell me, because I'm still I don't hate her as much, the president of the Federation. This week she didn't make me hate her as much. But that was still manipulative. Instead of is Why try to manipulate Saru and Burnham instead of telling them what's going on and formulating a plan before they even got over there? I don't like that, the fact that every move that she makes is a political move. There are no just I'm just doing this because this is what needs to be done. This is I'm doing this because I'm a politician and this is how politicians move. I don't know. I'm gonna grab me a bottle of water from behind my partition here. If you give me a second, I don't know why I don't have that sitting here already. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Clarence, oh wait a minute, it was a lot of comments before. Dreamwalker said, "I feel like the Federation." No, you said you like the Federation president as a character. I don't think I trust her as a friend. Yeah, now she's a good character. They wrote her well because I think they wrote her in a way where you either gonna love her or you gonna hate her. That's it. That's all. You gonna love her or you gonna hate her. Clarence is saying that the Federation president slightly won me over this week. She's playing the game. Yeah, but that's what I don't like about her. Now I like her. I like the fact that they wrote a character that I care enough about to either dislike them or distrust them or love them a lot. Like you guys say, some of you say, I really like that lady. Character, yes. But this lady she ain't about to write. She's not about to write. I'm telling you, something ain't right with her. Oh, oh. Reinhardt said, President Tarina, I think she's going through Pon Far. Is that what you think? I thought they, like, because just like last year, it seemed like they was making little eyes at each other, her and Saru. I always thought it was going to end up being some type of relationship between the two of them. And it doesn't have to turn into, the way a lot of humans would define relationships is would be sexual. But they might just like Kirk and Spock had this like bromance. I think that we could see a situation where they would have a romance, but it would be, an asexual romance. And I can say this because I think about myself in that way. Like, would I, okay, being an asexual person, I'm not looking for a sexual relationship with anybody, but I also know that ain't no too many men gonna deal with me just like outside of having a sexual relationship. But I want that kind of romance where it's like that meeting of the minds. I would fuck with a Vulcan. It's basically what I'm saying. I would fuck with a Vulcan. Dreamwalker says, I'm hoping that Gray has a body that I think Gray does use he. I'm hoping now that Gray has a body that he can actually develop relationships with other characters, because so far he just seems tacked on and not part of the rest of the show. Agreed. He is he is definitely not we ain't seen nothing from him. He's gotten the body now, like you said. We didn't see everybody. That's the problem. That's one problem I had this week. We see Adira go off with Tilly on this away mission. Ooh, much better. We see Tilly go off with Saru on their away mission, and then we see Burnham, not Saru. What am I saying? Tilly and Adira went off on the away mission. Saru and Burnham went off on their away mission, and we saw Book and Culber. What the hell? I want to know what the rest of these people do. We could have easily, now that he has a body, Gray, we could have easily seen him interacting with other characters that had never seen him before. And I'm pretty sure we'll get some of that. But I'm just like, I don't know. I don't like the way they're using Gray. I don't either, Dreamwalker. I'm going to read your theory that you sent me to, Dreamwalker. Excuse me. Claire said Tarina tried to get at Saru. Yes, talk about power moves. She made a move. And then Reinhardt said, I'm with you, Clarence. I think she loved that Saru or that man. Damn it, man. Do you think I'm a counselor? What? I got lost. I'm sorry. But yeah, I don't know what this it went over my head, Reinhardt, and maybe you was just talking to Clarence. But yeah. So that was I guess it's a good use of Culber. We're trying to see what happened with Culber. What is his little secret? What is he still grieving? I'm sure we're going to find out more about that as the season progresses. The big story to me this week was Tilly on this away mission, because a lot of things have become implied about this character. Excuse me. So she goes on the away mission. She's got these cadets. We see these cadets basically go from just being real clinical with one another to actually starting to have some camaraderie. We see them overcoming their dislike of one another's race in a very heavy-handed piece of social commentary, but not unlike Star Trek. When Star Trek gives you some social commentary, it does beat you over the head with it. I think Star Trek Deep Space Nine did a little better at being nuanced about it. But when you look at even in the original series, when you remember the episode where there were the people that were black and white, they were half black and half white, and they look just alike to all of us until we get to the end of the episode. Now, they were both half white and half black. Like literally, half of their face was black, the other half was white. And they just beefing with each other, fighting, trying to blow up, kill each other, all this stuff, commit genocide against each other. And Spock and Kirk wasn't having it, and they were, doing everything they could to keep these people apart. And then he was like, what are you guys even fighting about? And one of the black and white characters said, can't you see? He's clearly black on the right and white on the left, while I am white on the right and black on the left. And that was the beef that they had, very heavy-handed. But just like that's the original series of Trek, and I think this episode's social commentary was a bit more nuanced than that, but it was heavy-handed. They wanted you to understand the message that they were sending out with what they were saying, and I was here for it. I didn't dislike that. Reinhardt said, "I love Tilly this week." Dreamwalker said, "Basically the same text, just something more organized." Oh, where did you send it? Where did you send it? You said basically the same text, something more organized. I don't know. I'm gonna have to. I'm not catching on today. I don't know if I'm. Uh, Reinhardt said, "That's what I'm saying, Tasha, and all these people out here who keep saying it's too political or progressive. I want to say, have you ever watched Star Trek for real? Right? Just take it all the way back from the beginning, watch it, and I mean, the whole Deep Space Nine, literally was all about like the Holocaust in World War II. If you just put your thinking cap on, and sometimes you just want to watch something and mindlessly watch it. I get it, but when you watch something with your thinking cap on, uh, you see the allegories. You see where art imitates life. Yeah, because sometimes, most of the time, it's life imitates art, but we can flip that around as well. Art also imitates life. Dreamwalker like that black and white versus white and black. Cool episode. Uh, Clarence is saying like, what what was the message? I missed it. Um, Here, Dreamwalker. I see what you said. You typed out your theory more clearly on Reddit. Um, I'm going to put my email address down here. Can you just email it to me? I'm going to send my email address. Put it at the bottom of the screen so you can see where to email it. It's a lot. That's why I didn't just tell you. So if you see the email, just send it there, okay, huh? Because I'm not getting it. I'm not getting the link because you got a link in it. Well, I mean, Clarence, you saying what did you miss? The message that you missed on the away mission when the Orion and the Tellarite was having beef because of some stuff that the Orion the Orion's race did to the Tellarite, and the Tellarite was feeling some type of way, wouldn't even talk to this Orion because he's like, y'all are monsters, but he was saying it that instead of giving this individual a chance, he was judging that individual on what his entire race did. Just a few bad actors. So yeah, that's where we was going. So that message, again, some people are just looking for a reason to hate this show, and that message was going to jump out at them. But because you're such a great person, Clarence, that message didn't even mean nothing to you because you a good dude. Reinhardt said, "Tosh, I'm going to say, since you brought up Deep Space Nine, Kira is one of the best characters in all of Star Trek. You talking about someone who grew up in basically death camps, right? So, I mean, yeah, she's what they Deep Space Nine did a fantastically, outstandingly beautiful job of taking a character flawed. Damn near all of these characters in episode 1 of Deep Space Nine had flaws, and we actually watched growth throughout the series. And that's what I'm saying. These characters all had arcs, and it wasn't just, there's nothing wrong with having a character be the same character across multiple platforms, but it is something entirely different when you watch this character grow up. And not just I'm not talking about Jake Sisko and Nog grow up, even though even that was well written. So I'm not talking about just those grow ups. I'm talking about adult humans or adult beings. I won't just always say humans. Adult humanoids who feel like they have it all together because they are this or they are that. We see them have growth. That is a well written series. Clarence said people should not be mad about that. It is you know that there's that vocal contingent of Discovery haters who, oh, SJW, and oh, I don't want to be preached at. But they've been, again, they think they're saying something new or novel when this is the exact same shit that the original series faced. So that's just some idiots and the way they think about it. You say, okay, you say you think you sent it to the right place. I'm gonna let you know in just a minute. Clarence said Kira had to get over the same bias. Absolutely. And we also saw episodes of Star Trek where the bias wasn't gotten over. Remember the episode of TNG when Worf was like, oh, hell no, I'm not giving none of my blood to was it a Romulan? I'm not giving no blood transfusions to no Romulans. He can die. And Picard was like, hey man, I'm asking you, Captain, to, I'm asking you as your captain to do that for me. And Worf was like, nope. So yeah, he never got over that bias. So it works both ways in Star Trek. You see a person who had an experience with a group take it out on an individual, and he was like, I'm not changing my mind. He can die. And then you saw people who were discriminated against a group, and they learned to live with them, like Kira. Kira didn't get over her bias. She just learned to live with Cardassians without being all the time hostile. And then we see this situation where they actually did get over their biases against one another. Good writing across Star Trek, but that is just showing that there's nuances to this thing and that they have been doing it for years. This is not no shit that just started with Discovery. Reinhardt said, but Kira was so passionate. She and Michael Burnham have a lot of the similar traits. They will follow their heart above all, but they both have a huge capacity to love. Yes. Clarence said, people really trashed this episode online, but he loved it. This one, I actually loved it. I thought it was the change of pace that we needed, that, slow things down. Let's get a little cerebral. Let's see where we can move things with Tilly, because we knew things were going to happen with Tilly. Now, I feel like, okay, Kovich offered her this job right away. She took it right away, but they could be setting up her being part of that Starfleet Academy series that they have been talking about floating out there. She could be the anchor character of the character that we know from somewhere else who will cross over on that show as well. So I don't think, I don't know what people mad about. I just don't. Reinhardt said years later, he kind of did remember he fell in love with the girl that was half Klingon and half Romulan on that camp. And of course, when they fought with the Romulans to defeat Shenzhen. Oh, you talking about the movies? Yeah. And you say agreed, Reinhardt. So let me go to my email over here and see what Dreamwalker got for me. So Reddit link. So Dreamwalker has a theory, and it's concerning the DMA and what it could possibly be. Because this year, I was like, I'm not even about to do it. But I'm glad that somebody is keeping the torch alive, or to keeping the torch lit, and keeping the spirit of speculating alive, because I still love doing it. He said, my Star Trek Discovery conspiracy theory is that the DMA is a wormhole being opened from another galaxy, and that this civilization that Burnham saved came from the other galaxy. So remember the civilization that Burnham was like, I've never seen this species before. This was last week's episode. She was like, I've never seen this species before. But she helped Javini get that generational ship back on track to where it was going, right? So Dreamwalker says that the wormhole is being opened from another galaxy, and that this civilization that Burnham saved came from that other galaxy and needed to be here to set up this end of the wormhole. And they flew for probably over 1,000 years across intergalactic space. The DMA is moving in unpredictable ways because sentient beings are adjusting its position while trying to get the wormhole to stabilize on the other side. The reason it doesn't involve tachyons is either because it's being manually created or because wormholes traversing that great a distance use alternate particles. And the location of the DMA is near Quajan because of Quajan's unique role in this galaxy as a planet of a similar nature to the Spore network, which has allowed Discovery to travel quickly over great distances when piloted by people like those from Quajan. The speech on Kaminar in season 4, episode 2, about how not just Kaminar but all of the galaxy is their home, seems like the perfect setup for this intergalactic encounter. Our galaxy is described as an island, and beyond it, space. Why mention this space between galaxies if it's not going to be relevant? And honestly, until Dreamwalker put that, I had forgotten that speech. I had to go back and listen. And yeah, it could be an implication. So after having saved the galaxy after the burn, Michael will, like a pendulum, be the cause of the galaxy being invaded due to her saving the species from the other galaxy, like a wrecking ball. So, do you think this is plausible or am I just going crazy? Thanks for reading. That, to me, is plausible. It's plausible. It could be something that could happen. There could be a race on one side of on one side, on another side. That didn't come out good. There could be a race on in another galaxy attempting to create a stable wormhole so that they can enter this galaxy, and that would it would be better than a child's temper tantrum, and it will set us up for, like, why are people calling us the Vadrash, the Federation of Vadrash, in the Calypso short track, which we keep heading towards. They keep dropping little things to remind you that short trek exists. It could very well all tie in together. So let us know what you think in the comments. Reinhardt said to Clarence, man, you need to join my Star Trek Discovery Facebook group. It's all love. Talk to people that run that group. If you don't like Star Trek Discovery and you just want to come on, you will not be in that group for long. Now they welcome open discussion like we have, but all these people who just want to be haters, the rules are, if you're not a fan, then don't be here. Oh, Dreamwalker says, sorry if it was a bit long. No, that was cool. Dreamwalker. Reinhardt said, I'll just say this. I love Star Trek, so good to talk to like-minded people. He was talking to Dreamwalker there. And then Dreamwalker says it would be better than a child's temper tantrum. He's dying laughing. Yeah, I want it to I want the ending, the way this thing turns out, to be something that is like fascinating and not, oh yeah, that is Star Trek. It is something that could happen in Star Trek, but is it something tantalizing and exciting? And if the answer is no, then I would just like to move to the next season, please. This episode did a whole lot to me as far as building on the episode before it, not like building on it in such a way that we're getting closer to what the anomaly means, but we are seeing some payoff from some of the things that was set up in episode 1 of this season. My big takeaway is that Tilly leaving the ship going to work on at Starfleet Academy makes me feel like the Starfleet Academy series is that much closer. First and foremost, that she is going to be the Worf character, kind of the anchor, kind of a person who moves from uh, one series to another. Worf or Chief O'Brien. Um, so yeah, I'm excited to see what happens next. And oh, you guys probably want a rating for this. Probably want a rating for this episode. And for this episode, I think I don't know because I gave what did I give to Hawkeye? 4.5, 4.75, and I was being, a little cheeky. And this one I'll probably do the same thing, a 4.5. The only thing that I guess I didn't like was what rubbed me the wrong way about President Rillick. And that is to the series credit, or to this episode's credit, that it made me continue to feel some type of way about Rillick, and it made me kind of rein back my thoughts about Tarina. So Reinhardt said, "You're preaching to the choir on that one." With I love Discovery with a passion, but I did think that ending last season was very lackluster. Yeah, that was Tasha. It was me. That was this chick right here. Oh, you were talking about, yeah. I mean, I don't know how many of us felt that way, but yeah, it was anticlimactic to me last year. And Clarence said it was good that Tilly found her path. Yeah, um, and I honestly believe that she's gonna make a great instructor uh, in Starfleet Academy. So we'll see that what happens with that. So yeah, that was that was Star Trek Discovery, season 4, episode 4. Uh, all is possible. And I like, before we move on from that, I also like that Adira got there. We got to see Adira really use those symbionts. She really went into, we started to see what the symbionts bring to the table, kind of like Jadzia. When we saw Jadzia use the symbionts, it wasn't no old psychic concentration. She just knew shit that you really knew that she didn't have no business knowing. Like, you ask her a question and she answered it like that. But this was not coming from the Jadzia part of Dax. This was coming from one of the other Daxes, and I thought we saw a bit of that with Adira, where instead of Adira looking shifty and not understanding what their role is on this team, they knew that to just listen to the instinct of these symbionts. They was leading her through, whatever. Reinhardt said, the cool thing for all of it is we can be the cool thing for all of it is we can be critical of a show we love without trashing it. And that's the difference between us and the people who are just haters. Uh Clarence said Adira was great. I thought so too this episode. And he also followed with, I'm glad they and Gray are separated. I am too. Because we either go, and Clarence always says things very diplomatically, and then I come in real crass and be like, Gray need to shit or get off the pot. We need a personality from Gray. That was one of the things that I just didn't like about the character. You know, we're seeing them feel more corporeal, and that's wonderful and beautiful and excellent. But they need to shit or get out the pot. Give me something to work with Gray, or send Gray someplace else. Because what is Gray gonna bring to the team? We already got Book. We already got the extra person. Book is the extra person to me. The point of view character that everything looks crazy because I'm not in the Federation. And look at all these people, they're in the Federation. That's what Book is for to me. Dreamwalker said, I think it was episode 3 when Tilly told Adira that they check each other's work. Good lead into the teamwork exercise in episode 4. It absolutely was. They've been laying the little crumbs. You just follow the crumbs. They've been giving us a route to take since episode 1 of this season. I'm here for it. I'm thinking that the writing is becoming far more direct. We know these characters now. They know who they are, and thus we're starting to learn who they are. The only thing I'm asking, and I don't think is asking too much, is to see more of the other bridge crew members. We need to see more than just Burnham and her boyfriend. We get more action from Book than anybody else that's been part of this series since season 1. So let's see some stuff that is surrounding those characters. For instance, let's see Gray interact with Reese and Bryce in some type of activity that they do together. You know what I mean? So we can get to know each of these characters a little bit more. Reinhardt said, I can't wait to see Gray get to step out. As I said, the character Ian Alexander, I'll drop some tweets with before, and they are super sweet and kind. So I'm always going to root for Gray to get more screen. Dreamwalker said, we need to see more Grudge. Oh gosh. I don't want to say that too loud because I named my one of my kittens Grudge, and I think he started to realize that that's his name. Because like when I'll say stuff to him, first he would just, of course, he just walk past me like, I don't know who you were talking about, lady. Just fill my bowl. But now when I say Grudge, he turns. I'm like, it's cute. He's starting to know his name. Oh gosh. Reinhardt said, I agree with you, Tasha. More screen time for the bridge crew. Clarence is very specific. Clarence, you're very specific about who you want to see. More Owo. You're gonna get some of her because we saw some of that in the trailer for the season. So I think it's safe to say we're gonna see her kicking somebody's butt, it looked like. Reinhardt said, Dreamwalker, I don't know if you can see what my YouTube picture is, but it's Grudge. Yes, it is. It's that little kitty. It's the little kitty. But yeah, anybody got, I see more comments. I'm missing them. Oh, Dreamwalker's talking about the Grudge conversation. Said nice about the profile picture, and also that I named one of my kitties is Grudge. The other one is Grogu. Something wrong with Grogu. Grogu, we probably gonna have to get him some psychiatric help. But everybody can't be a lottery pick. Grogu is special. She's a queen to me. Yes. Okay. We got one more series to talk about. You guys have been doing really good today. We didn't have anybody tell me what they were watching the first time I asked, so I guess I'll float that question again before we get into the Wheel of Time. What are you watching? What you watching? Let me know. Tell me in the chat. What are you watching? And then we'll get into the Wheel of Time because I've been waiting for weeks for this, and I don't know if Dee and Lysandra are still in the chat, but we've been waiting. We've been waiting to talk about this. I mean, we've been talking about it amongst ourselves. Oh, Dreamwalker said that he watched Survivor. Well, I don't watch that. I know somebody who does, I think. Somebody in this group watches Survivor, I think. He said that's not that same type of show. Reinhardt said, look at Tasha. I'm upset that nobody's calling out Grogu, Christy Lynette, little kids cookies, like she's 50. I don't know who Christy Lynette is. I don't know. I might be saying it right or wrong. Davina said she's there but still at work. Oh, okay, you at work. Man, Clarence, you'd have got it to Harlem too, but you like, you know what? I can always figure out why you do things now, Clarence. I'm starting to know you, friend. And the thing that I think is that you was in as soon as you heard Megan Good. As soon as you heard Megan Good. We are going to discuss Harlem, but we're trying to figure out when we're going to do it because Davina wants to be part of the conversation, and she's working on Sundays. So that was you, Clarence, that likes Survivor. Yeah. But yeah, she's working on Sundays. So we're gonna figure out a special time to talk about Harlem because I like that show far more than I'm supposed to because there's just it's not me. I'd be thinking I'm a little bit better than some shows. Like, oh no, I don't watch that. Oh no reality TV for me. I'm too good for that. And then I watch the fucking Tiger King. Or no. I'm into more cerebral stuff. And then I sit down for literally 6 consecutive hours and watch Harlem. And I did enjoy it. So Clara said he loves Survivor, and I knew somebody in our group loved Survivor. And The Expanse, which you're gonna sell me on The Expanse. You're selling me on that. Lysandra also loved Harlem. Yes, I don't know how I got involved in this, but yeah. Reinhardt said, sorry, Tasha, I had something else in here and it picked up that sound. Oh, okay, no problem. Dreamwalker said, I wrote down some of your shows and Netflix movie recommendations. Haven't gotten around to trying them yet. You know what, Dreamwalker? As long as the list is being helpful. It's like, oh yeah, I didn't even know that show existed. Like sometimes we know shows, you guys will know a show that I have never heard of, like them with telling me about Foundation. Now, I don't have the service to watch Foundation, but Foundation is now on my radar because of the suggestions of my friends. So yeah, I'm glad it's being helpful to y'all. Clarence and Davina are laughing. I think it was that Megan Good comment that did it for both of them. And Dreammarker said, I watched Tiger King 2 like a month late or so. Oh no, I watched that thing. Like I watched it almost as it was airing. I don't know how that thing happened. Those kinds of things happen to me where it's something I'm not even looking for. But then it just the thumbnail, and I guess that's really what it is. It's clever marketing because I was watching The Wheel of Time on Amazon Prime, and that is how I saw Harlem. And I'm like, I wonder what that is. So that algorithm that chooses what you see next or whatever, what to watch next, and then this thing comes up. They know me very well. That algorithm has my habits down pat. They know what will catch my eye, even though it might be not even be a subject that I'm interested in. That thumbnail catches my eye, and I fall victim to being manipulated by the imagery. Dreamwalker said, I also enjoyed the Canadian show Trailer Park Boys, which feels like something I shouldn't enjoy given all the stupidity and drug content. But I did. Kind of the way I felt about, and it wasn't Workaholics. And the crazy thing is, I got my son watching it. Like we will, any chance that we get, we watch Workaholics. It's just the fucking stupidest show, and I just loved it. Just if it's got to be train wreck stupid though. It can't have anything that makes you feel like they're trying to do something that is smart because then that just ruins the show. Workaholics is so flippin' funny. Uh oh, Claire said Hannah on Amazon is a new season of that as well. And Dreamwalker said, I watched a few episodes of Workaholics, not all of them. I honestly believe I watched them all. And I will watch them again. So there are certain series that I will watch over and over. For instance, I do Deep Space Nine quite a bit, and that's just in the Star Trek neighborhood. Since we're here, we're just finishing our Star Trek conversation. I watch Deep Space Nine over and over, and then sometimes I'll just let's play Deep Space Nine roulette, and I'll just pick an episode. But there are also times TNG, I go back to certain episodes. Deep Space Nine, I watched the entire series back through. I also like Enterprise. I watch that from beginning to end, all the way through, again and again, because um, there were some arcs that should have never been dropped on Enterprise to me, and that's a show that died too soon. And I always get into this, and then I get all passionate and start going off. Let's talk about the Wheel of Time, y'all. Oh gosh. Reinhardt said, okay, y'all, we got to get ready because The Expanse is about to come back on last season. I'm literally going to cry when that show goes off. Uh, I got to get into The Expanse. I watched the first episode. Clarence has told me that it's a slow burn, so I'm going to try to go back through it once I get through some of the stuff that we have to do. I asked earlier though, and I didn't get no answer. Do you guys think Peacemaker? Blah, blah. Do you guys think Peacemaker? Is that his name? Peacemaker? Do you guys think Peacemaker is something that we're going to do? You guys want to talk about Peacemaker in January when that one comes out? Because if it's not on the list, and if I get to move in another direction, if you guys aren't going to watch it, I ain't going to talk about it. But if we are all, like, the majority of us are going to watch it, then we can put that on the list. And then Dreamwalker is telling me that Trailer Park Boys has something like 11 seasons. If you want to check it out, is Trailer Park Boys, is it that sort of train wreck type? I like those. I really do like shows that are so stupid that it's just completely implausible that any of this can happen, but then here it is happening. Reinhardt said, Tasha, all I'll say is, I love Star Trek. That's a part of my life since I was 7 years old, and I'm 53 now. But The Expanse is probably one of the best science fiction shows I've ever seen. I keep hearing about it. Again, the first episode didn't grab me, but I'm going to give it a chance. Dreamwalker said, Elliot Page was a child under the old name. Was even in the cast of Trailer Park Boys in season 1 or 2. I will definitely have to check that out. I'll give an episode or two a try. And if I end up liking it, I will let you know for sure, Dreamwalker. Man, Clarence said, I'll watch if Gunn is attached, but I'm tired of DC TV shows. Man, speaking of DC TV shows, like, remember the CW shows? And I'm saying it like this is past tense, and it sort of kind of is. I liked the Flash first season. Man, the first 2 seasons of Arrow was so fucking fantastic to me. And then they started jumping the shark a little bit with the Black Canary stuff. So it was certain things that just jumped the shark for me. And then I got into Flash, and they continuously have speedster villains, and I'm like, there is more to Flash's the I guess his whole ragtag group of villains that he has behind him. There's more to Flash than that. I didn't really get into Legends. Let me see. Didn't get into Legends. Didn't get into Batwoman or none of that. But I did get into Black Lightning, and I just fell off of it. I just fell off the CW. So those DC shows, they kind of alienated me. They're over there. I was like, oh, but we got these shows over here. remember DC Universe when they first came out? I got that series. I mean, that streaming service, and I'm like, because I like Titans. The first season did not disappoint me. Didn't disappoint me. I fell off of Doom Patrol because things just started getting a little too gross for me. I was a little more squeamish a couple years ago, and I did not want to see all the gore. There's a lot of gore, body horror. Oh, what was I going to say? Oh, I'm sorry, Dreamwalker. You said you need to start watching The Expanse too. Yeah, well, I might maybe that's something we can watch together. You guys know it, and some of you know it already, and you guys will help give me an excuse to keep going with it. And so if we're not watching Peace, what is the name of it? It's sad. I don't even remember the name of this character, Peacemaker. If we're not watching Peacemaker, we'll do Expanse. But if you guys like Peacemaker, we're gonna do that. Dreamwalker, you're a baby. You say you're 32 years old and you grew up on Voyager. You're just a sweetie little baby. Clarence said, same with the first season of Supergirl and Black Lightning. Fantastic. And then I don't know how Black Lightning went. I watched the first probably season and a half, and I don't know what went on in my world that shook shit up where I stopped watching it. My niece was like, you need to get back on it. And then they announced that they were going to cancel it. And I'm like, well, it ain't no point. Lysandra wants to know where to watch The Expanse on Amazon Prime Video. You can watch it on Amazon. All right. The Wheel of Time, y'all. Wheel of Time. We're heading into the last thing. So if you have not watched The Wheel of Time up to episode 6, The Flame of Tarvalon, I'm going to be dropping spoilers. Okay. So I'm going to be dropping spoilers. So don't, I won't feel bad if you take off because you don't want to be spoiled. Okay. And here we see you later, Dreamwalker. Thanks. Thanks for being here and thanks for submitting your theory to me. I appreciate you letting me read that to my audience. The Flame of Tarvalon. We met Swan Sanche, the Amerlin seat. Man, was she not I guess did she not cut an imposing figure on her little Amerlin seat, being the Amerlin seat? So the Amerlin seat, she questioned and she kind of had to chastise Leandrin, Alana, and Moiraine. Now, Lysandra and Dee, remember I kept saying there's one who looks like her powers are far more powerful than Moiraine. That was Alana. That was the one from the Green Aja. That's the one who I was thinking she got to be, Moiraine's supposed to be the strongest, but Alana, when she demonstrated her powers came across far better than the praise dance, as Clarence put it. her powers came off as far more formidable, so I was liking Alana when we were watching them, get busy out in the field and kill some people. It was Alana. But anywho, so she was holding them responsible for gentling Logain prior to her being able to question him. That she didn't like that. And Logain sits in here and he's talking mad shit. But the reason why he's talking mad shit, and we start to realize that, is because he wants them to kill him. He doesn't want to go to prison or to sit and wait to die, feeling this disconnect. Because once you touch the one source, when you get cut off from it, it drives you crazy. And that is what's going on with Logain now. He would rather die than not have that connection to where he was getting his powers, which is the one power, the one source, a true source, or something like that. Anywho, Moiraine went over there and found out that Rand and Matt was in town. And she pulls that the dark energy, the dark one's influence out of Matt, because Matt, of course, he stole a dagger because he's a thief. So when they went to that city where Lan told them, okay, don't touch anything, and if you didn't bring it here, don't eat it. Do not touch anything. This idiot went straight out the door and was like, all right, I'm gonna go out here and touch some shit. And not only did he touch some stuff, he took this dagger. He took it with him. You freaking idiot. And that dagger was possessing him. Now he doesn't even know. So let me know what you guys think. Because just like I was saying, I wasn't sure who killed that family. Was it Matt or was it the Fade? Now he's like, I don't even know if I killed that family. It could have been me. It could have been the Fade. He don't know. Who do you think killed that family back in episode, I believe that was episode 3. No, episode 4. Who do you think killed that family? I am, yeah, I want to know if anybody is thinking. To me, I think Matt killed that family. But okay. So Moiraine asked Egwene and Perrin, hey, wait for me to send for you. Don't leave up out of here. You think he did it too, Clarence? Don't leave up out of here. Wait for me to send for you, and then when I send for you, be ready to bounce. Okay, but Egwene, wait a minute, I don't want to say it in the wrong order. Okay, yeah. Now that the blue lady from the blue house, the one that's over Moiraine, that sits on the throne with sits on in the throne room with the Amerlin seat, she told Moiraine, oh sister, you got to stay here. I don't want you going back out in the field. So now whatever it is that Moiraine is up to out there in the field, now she has to go about it a different way, because the leader of her Aja told her that you cannot leave. So I'm gonna come back to that because Clarence had a piggyback on his comment. He said, especially after the end of this episode, and Lysandra had a theory. Lysandra, be prepared. Tell them your theory, but when I get towards the end, after we, in order, I'll come back to you. I ain't gonna forget. I don't think. Davina said, Matt seemed to feel sad about the little girl's death. That's the only reason I thought Matt didn't kill the family. But I mean, he wasn't even sure if he killed the family. So it would be like, at first I was like, okay, they wanted us to think that Matt killed the family, and then they showed the Fade. So definitely the Fade killed the family. But then we get outside when Matt is riding away on his horse in that episode, and I was like, did he drop the doll or did he just lose that doll? I think he threw that doll down as they were riding away because he didn't give 0 F's about that family. So now every little thing that he did after we saw all this dark energy going through him, every little thing that he did has to come up in question, including, did you send for the Fade? Or did you kill the family and the Fade just showed up? Because he told the Fade, I see you. He the only person in the room that sees the Fade. Clarence said he was possessed, so he could have easily done it. I agree. Plus, he's possessed by the dark, whatever the smoke. the dark energy. He was possessed by that, but it also, I think he's got a little evil in him anyway. We saw him at the beginning of the series care about his sisters, but it didn't seem like he cared about too much of anybody else. So yeah, he cared about his sisters, but he didn't care about anybody else. And from then on, we've seen, before they even got to that city, where he wasn't supposed to touch anything, we've seen Matt be more increasingly selfish as things went on, and this was before the possession. So I'm wondering, because he already has a bad nature, if that is why, he went as dark as he did when he touched that dagger, and it didn't kill him because he's already got a bad nature. But anywho, um what was we talking? Okay, so Moiraine is hiding her motives from Leandrin. And let me tell you, Leandrin, that's the red Aja, the lady in the red Aja. I hated her from the moment I saw her. And that, to me, again, a well-written character, because I'm talking about on site at the beginning of the series when she killed that man just for being a man and being able to channel. He hadn't done anything. She killed him. That was an indication to me that, okay, something bad about her. And as we move on, we know that she wasn't supposed to kill that man on the spot. She was supposed to take the man to the Amerlin seat, but she was out there delivering justice. Even in the beginning, before we met anybody else, we saw Leandrin kill somebody. Lysandra said, I think it's because his mom told him that he's going to be just like his dad. I mean, the daddy was a pedophile or something like that. He was out there talking to them children, the little girls being mannish, and the mama was an alcoholic. So, I mean, the gene pool is just completely tainted with this one already. So yeah, he just got bad genes. But yeah, let's see. So yeah, I don't like Leandrin, and Leandrin, I feel like, is going to turn out to be more than just an Aes Sedai who hates men because that's what Aja she's in. I think she's going to turn out to be a dark character where she might even be working for the other side. That's how I feel. Uh, Now, remember the ogre? You guys love that ogre. Davina and Lysandra love that ogre. And I think he's pretty okay too. But the ogre is going to do Loyal Loyal a favor. We did not know what the favor was. We move on and see Loyal. We see, Loyal go off to start doing the favor. Gosh, I'm telling you, all these are weird. I don't know if y'all see these weird ass messages going through here, but yeah. Anyhow, Reinhardt said, I don't know the actor's name who's the head of the organization that's in all white, but he is one of those guys you love to hate. He's so good at that role. Yeah, I don't like him either. He's a Valda. I can't remember his name, but he's one of the Guardians of Light, though, like you said. And yeah, I don't like him. Yeah. And I guess we didn't talk about last week. We didn't talk about, I guess why I don't like him. And it was last week we got to see a demonstration of Perrin's power. And it was just as Lysandra had guessed. She said, I think he's a wolf. And yes, he's a wolf. Somehow he's got this wolf energy going on about him. So now Lysandra and I were talking the other night. And I'm like, so where did the wolf energy come from? Because I never saw a wolf until after, they begun on their quest. So where did he get this wolf energy? So we were going back and forth. One of the things that we floated out there is that, maybe the Trollocs. Maybe the Trollocs is that scratch or that bite or whatever he had on him. That is what created him being able to turn into this wolf. And then I went back and we watched it again. We watched the first episode, and I just picked up where the praise dancing started. And I saw that that it looked like his wife's eyes was yellow like that. And if you remember, let me know in the comments. If not, take a look at it and see if I'm crazy, because it wouldn't be the first time that I thought I saw something that I didn't see. So let me know what y'all thought. Uh, could he have just gotten this power from the Trollocs, or did his wife look like she had that power? I don't know. We will see. Um, what else? What else? Yeah, and I don't like the Guardians of Light and the leader of their little group. He is so freaking I don't know if we should call him just, oh, I don't like him, so calculating. I don't like him. Yeah, his name is Eamon Valda. That's his name. Eamon Valda. I had to look it up. Yeah, I don't like him. Not one bit. Oh gosh. And we also last week didn't talk about the connection between an Aes Sedai and her warder. What we got to see about that. Like we saw them grieve the loss of Karini, the black Aes Sedai lady who was part of the Green Aja. We saw him grieving that loss, but we found out that it is almost is the heartbreak is so intense that you would rather be dead than live without your Aes Sedai as a warder. Clarence said, I don't know. I think they all may be the dragon, and they have to come together like Voltron. They have to come together like Voltron to beat the evil one. And the thing is, Clarence, I've thought about that too, which made me feel like it's even going to be worse the fact that Matt stayed on the other side of that portal. But we still haven't seen Rand's power. And I'm like, okay, are they saving Rand's power so that are they saving his power so he'll be revealed as this big bad threat, because we haven't seen him do anything yet, and we're in the last 2 episodes now. So yeah, because it would be something if Matt staying on the other side of that wormhole does create an issue where they can't use the power. They're all the Dragon Reborn. Except, okay, somebody in there right now, somebody on that side of that little portal or whatever it was, is not even in the running of the Dragon Reborn. So I don't know if I'm making sense, because it was only supposed to be 4 people that they were choosing from. But suddenly Nynaeve showed up, and now they got 5 people who could possibly be the Dragon Reborn. They don't know who is who, but she was saying one of these people will not be able to survive, like going up against the Dark One. So they won't be able to go. So somebody gonna die. We already know that. It was 4 out of the 5 are possible, and Matt stayed back. So is it possible that Matt is not one of the ones who would be able to fight the Dark One? I don't know if I'm making sense. If I'm not making sense, let me know. So I have to reformulate my thoughts so I can say it, I guess, more concisely. Lysandra said, Clarence, she said she was thinking that too. Yeah. Davina laughing at Voltron like I was. And Lysandra says she's waiting on his power too. Rand, we got to see what he can do. He's the only person that hasn't exhibited any power. Davina said Rand's power is like his strength. We remember he knocked down that door. You know what? He did. He did. He did. I'm looking for something magical, mystical, but it could be something as simple as he is super strong. So okay, that even lends more credence to Lysandra and Clarence's theory that all of them got to link up and be like, with our powers combined. So yeah, I get what you're saying. Um, Clarence said, "Yeah, I love it that I don't know anything about this." Yeah, me too. Me too. What is his power? God, Davina, you are right. I've been looking for some special shit, and the shit was sitting right there. He's just super strong when it's an emotional situation. You're right. Wish you'd have said that to me last week, and my whole thought processes might have changed. Yeah, Reinhardt. You said you got to say that you think they have a little something something when it comes to powers. Yeah, but just like I was expecting to see some type of magical power, but Davina is right. He knocked the damn door down when he got emotional. So all of them have already displayed some type of exceptional ability. So yeah, we knew that they all were going to have some ability, but I was looking for something like bam, and it was something a subtle thing. No praise dancing for Rand. Yeah, I would have loved to see Rand break it down, show us his powers. Yeah. So where else were we? We saw that Moiraine can cut off, or any Aes Sedai, I guess, at this point, but in this case, it was Moiraine, can cut off their connection to their warder, and that he felt it. So when he came running in there, like in her room, like what's really going on? You cut the connection, and she's like, yeah. But this is also showing the relationship of this Aes Sedai and her warder. He was like, "Oh, you're going to see her," so he already knew that her and Sion or Suan, her and Suan had a little thing. I didn't see it coming until it was there. I did not see that coming until we were heading into her little lair. But yeah, they got a little thing going. Good for them. Good for them. Um, Reinhardt said, I didn't know that because they were saying there is one of you. Turns out they're all special. Oh, I'm going to go watch the new episode as soon as we get done here. So yeah, she did start off by saying there was one, and then we saw Egwene use a little bit of power. So it started off like, oh, it's going to be her, huh? But then episode by episode, we started noticing that each one of them has a quality that would put them in the running to be the Dragon Reborn. But then I was waiting on Rand to display something when, as Davina so aptly put it, that I overlooked it. So each and every one of them has shown something that would make them a candidate for being the Dragon Reborn, which makes me lean towards what Lysandra and Clarence have deduced, which is now that all of them together, they all have to be together to get this job done against the Dark One. It's going to come into play that this fool stayed on the other side of that portal. And Lysandra, what was your theory about, gosh, it was something you said the other day about Matt, what you thought his was going to happen with him because he stayed on the other side of the portal. He's going to he's going to go back and let Logain out. That's what she was saying. She said that he was going to go back and let Logain out, and I can see that happening. I can see him going back because they already had that little eye contact at the when they were sitting on the top of in those windows watching the parade when they were bringing the fake dragon through. Matt and Rand were in that windowsill, and we watched the processional go by, and we saw Logain from in his cage make eye contact with who I thought was Matt. He made eye contact with him and he started laughing because he felt like he recognized his spirit. You get what I mean? So I could see that that could be the case, that Matt and Logain have a connection because they both got like this dark energy in them. But what if he was looking at Rand? And if you, I mean, go back and take a look at episode 5 and tell me, you know, when that in the scene where the processional, it could, this thing could be going a whole different way than we thought when we put all of you guys theories together, you know. Clarence said, I'm loving how this is a classic hero's journey. Yeah, but we just don't know which one is the hero. I like that. Won't the orc things still be pursuing him too? What orc things? I'm trying to think now. What is the orc things? The orc things. The Trollocs? I mean, you're talking about Matt. Now that he decided that he's going to stay on the other side of the portal, maybe Matt's going to be just fine because he is because he's dark, or maybe that's just the way that I'm reading it. Like Matt is staying back because he don't want to fight the dark one. Trollocs, okay. Yeah. I don't know which is which. I don't know if they're gonna be coming for him. And I really, if he don't leave from over by the White Tower, I really don't think the Trollocs want it with the Aes Sedai. Not when all of them out. There's like a lot of Aes Sedai up in that tower. You know, I don't think the Trollocs want it with him. But I do believe Matt is going to tell somebody where they went. He's going to Matt is going to tell Leandrin probably, oh, where they went. Point you in that direction or something. Something gonna happen, and Matt gonna be behind it, and I'm gonna beat him up. So Lysandra was saying, yeah, that was her theory, and Claire said the Lord of the Rings translation. Yeah, yeah, same species, different names of calling it, right? Oh gosh. Oh yeah, Sion. I mean, why I keep calling that lady Sion? Suan and Moiraine, they got their little swervy nerve, and then Nynaeve and Egwene went to go meet Suan. Now Suan was trying to be real cool, and she's coming to him like, "Don't fangirl. Hey, I know I'm a celebrity, but yes, there's a lot of power in this room. I heard one of you have more power than me." And Egwene gets to grinning, and then she turns and looks at Nynaeve. I don't think Egwene had no clue that Nynaeve had any kind of special abilities. She thought she was supposed to be the next person who was going to be this big channeler, and it turns out it's Nynaeve. Of course, Nynaeve is very suspicious of everything. She does not. She don't trust very easy. So later, same episode, of course. Later on, Moiraine is taken in front of this council with Suan being the about to give her the sentence that she was sentencing her to. But what everybody in the room didn't realize is that Suan and Moiraine came up with this what the punishment was going to be. They came up with that together. They decided that the only way that Moiraine was going to be able to continue on the mission that Suan really knows that she's on, she knows why she's on it. They come up with the idea that they have to exile Moiraine so that she can be out of the tower and get this stuff done. And that is what happened. And it was a very emotional thing because within both of these women, they know that there was nothing that they would like more than to be able to just continue to be together and it's appearing that until this mission is over, they won't see each other again. So they were stealing the little opportunities to lock eyes, and Suen crying, but she couldn't show, she still had to remain stoic because she's supposed to be so impartial between all of these sisters in this Aes Sedai. And they took the opportunity to like touch fingertips while they were holding on to this rod as she was being read her sentence. It was a heartbreaking scene, and it was very political. It was staged. They staged this scene. Yes, she was going to have to hand down some punishment, but they staged it to such that all the rest of the leaders of these Aes Sedai Ajas were going to be right outside the door, so that they would see that Moiraine had been exiled. And then, what's her name? Leandrin still had some more shit that she wanted to talk, and Moiraine turned around and was like, I know about that dude that you go visit. Please do not make me use this information. I thought that was the coolest thing. That you know what? I don't have to do all this grandstanding. I'm telling you, I know about that dude. You supposed to hate men so much, but you sneaking off every now and then, getting you. Yeah, I know about him. So I'm gonna tell the Red Aja sisters, if you don't shut the F up. I loved it. Davina said, when I saw they were all candidates for the Dragon Reborn, I thought it may take all of them. It's looking like y'all right. It's looking like it, because the only problem is Matt. If they do need him, he's fucking up. He fucking up the church's money. You know what I mean? You'd have messed everything up if they end up needing you to kill the Dark One. So it's like they going on this quest for no reason if Matt needs to be with them, because dang, he mess up a wet dream, I tell you. Let's see. Now, so at the end, we find out what the favor that Moiraine needed from Loyal, which was to gather up the people from Two Rivers, gather them up, and bring them to this place where I guess it looked like the Clarence. What is the name of it? We talked about it so much last year. He looks like the Guardian of Forever. That gate. That's what it was. That gate that they went to. It looked like the Guardian of Forever to me. Yeah, you're right, Clarence. The sets got way better when they got to the city. You are correct. But then the city, especially in the area where they were, don't have to be as grungy. It doesn't have to be grungy. Um, that's what I'm like, in the beginning. It was just very jarring to me. But now I guess two things. Um, yeah, Clarence, it was like Stargate as well. It's probably more like Stargate than the Guardian of Forever. Yeah. Uh, but yeah, I didn't notice how more comfortable I was with the sets. Sets did get better as we are progressing, especially now that we are in over here by the White Tower. And does anybody else like go back and read the stuff? You know how Amazon has X-ray on the side, and you go to it and you can read other things, or you can see other media that they have about these episodes. Does anybody else go back and read that stuff? Because I do. And you will get a wealth of information that is not in the show, and it won't be too much. It's not too much where it's giving away things. It's just a part of building the world. They have like mock-ups of, what do you call it when they when they kind of sketch out their plan? Storyboards. They've got the storyboards kind of type comics, like telling you where this thing is going, like what you would use in a pitch meeting. um they got that stuff. They've got visuals. They've got maps that tell you like everything, where all the places are, and what is the significance of these places. Like we've met Suan Sanche's family, her father, and when she used that power, how as soon as she used her power, their house got burned down. You saw the Yang signal symbol painted on her home, and they sent her away. They exiled, basically. She was exiled. So when we saw that, it explained why that the people, her people, felt that way. Why they felt like she had to go because she's got these powers. So it's just, I guess what I'm saying is companion pieces. It's more information than you would probably ever need, but then some of us still want that information. I'm one of those someones. I want to know everything about this society, what it is I might be missing, and what it is that they want me to see, because they provided us these maps and descriptors and storyboards, because it in some way advances where they want us to be in this show, and I absorb all of that foolishness. Oh gosh. So I'm kind of glad that Loyal, whatever his name is, the ogre, that he went with them to go to the Eye of the World. Um, and what is the name of that place? Oh, it's called the Waygate. So Clarence, yeah, you Stargate. It was called the Waygate. The Waygate is how they are going to get to the Eye of the World, and they're going to confront the Dark One and uncover who the Dragon Reborn is. Unless the Dragon Reborn is Matt, then they're gonna all get killed because they should not be there. But I believe, just like you guys are saying, that it will take all of them. Now you've gotten me sold on it. It's gonna take all of them to do their thing against the Dark One. Y'all got anything else about the Wheel of Time? And this was a good episode to me. And before you ask, yeah, I would give it this. What I guess I could give it a 5. I could stop being so freaking stingy with these stars. five, 5 out of 5 this time. Claire said, "I'm tempted to read ahead. We'll probably have to wait over a year until the newer season." And yeah, but I hope not, Clarence, because they already greenlit it. They greenlit it months ago, so they should be in some process of getting on the next season. Yeah. Yeah, they should be in the process of getting us some stuff. Maybe, I don't know. I hope we ain't got to wait over a year. And Lysandra is seconding that emotion. I second that emotion. She is saying, I do not want to wait no year. Nope, I don't want to wait no year for for this. I'm in. I'm in. Um Now, you said you said you're tempted to read ahead. Are you talking about reading the books? I'm not touching those books because I don't want to know too much, and I don't want to know what I don't know. Because if you read the comments or the reviews about Wheel of Time, people who know what the books went like, oh God, they are demolishing this this show. And I'm like, for somebody who doesn't know what's supposed to happen in the books, I feel like this show is fantastic. And I'm wondering if knowing is not always half the battle. So yeah, I'm wondering. Yeah, but I think, like, especially just reading the stuff that is put in that X-ray on the side of your on the side of the screen when you're watching shows on Amazon Prime. Gosh, what is really going on? When you watching shows on Amazon Prime, man, I be wondering why. Why a lot of people don't want to read that shit? Because I'm gonna read it. All that stuff on the side, I'm reading that. Every bit of it. I'm going through it. I'm watching. I'm reading. I'm looking at all the pictures. It's a lot of stuff. Claire said, "Oh, just like they did Game of Thrones. Yeah, they beat this. I didn't read, of course, Game of Thrones. I didn't even watch Game of Thrones. But yeah, they snobs. They feel. And is it just me? Okay, is it just me? I read a lot of comic books as a young girl. I read a lot of books, period. Like anything I could get my hands on, I would read. Um, One of my guiltiest of pleasures when I was a young girl is reading the James Grisham novels. Called that. That's what I did as far as risque reading when I was a teenager or a younger adult. And when they started making those John Grisham books into movies, I didn't want the movie to have the same ending as the book because I would already know the ending. You know what I mean? So is it just me? Or is that like once you know what the ending is, why would you want to know? Why would you want to watch a movie that has that same ending? Let me know how y'all feel about that. Clarence caught my GI Joe reference. I'm glad you right there, brother. To say smug book readers, yeah, they Waygate keepers. They are keepers of the Waygate. Yeah. So yeah, I'm not about to go too far ahead. I just like I haven't touched Dune. I haven't went back and watched the old one or nothing. I want to get Denis Villeneuve's uh complete picture of what he had envisioned when he envisioned making Dune. And then, after that, I'll go back and, maybe visit the old stuff. But yeah. Anybody else got anything about the Wheel of Time? And I still ain't heard nobody say whether or not they want to what besides Clarence. I ain't heard nobody else say whether or not we watching Peacemaker. So that's y'all freaking homework. Are we watching that show or not? Because I probably, if I can just watch it without having to talk about it, and if that first episode grabs me, I will make an executive decision and decide, yes, we are going to talk about this. But I'm really trying to have y'all be a little more involved in what we watch because as new things come out, I might have interest going one way, but if more of you have interest going another way, I'd like to watch what y'all want to watch sometimes. Let me know. And I might start the expanse and maybe I don't know if I'll do that videos or live streams where because so many people have already watched it, would it be exciting to have a live stream about me talking about a series and you guys are on like season 4 or 5 or 6 or how many seasons is it? I don't even know over the expanse. Let me know. God dang, it's 5 o'clock. Shit. It's like I'm living in some type of time warp the last few days. Like yesterday, okay, the whole thing with D, as we talked on the phone for a fucking shift. I still can't believe that. So as soon as I got off the phone with D, we came and we did this. We did the weekly wrap up for 2 hours. And then, okay, once we finished the 2 hour weekly wrap up, my sister called. I talked to her on the phone for 2 hours. And let me tell you, my sister is a woman of very few words. I don't know how we stayed on the phone for 2 hours. Okay, but as soon as I got off the phone with my sister and I'm like, okay, it's time to wind down, I called Lysandra. I don't know why. We talked on the phone for 3 hours. So what I'm getting at is yesterday I spent like 15 hours talking. Like I talked for 15 hours yesterday. I talked with D, my sister, Lysandra, 2 hours with y'all. That was 15 fucking hours that I spent. I cannot believe. Um, I can't believe how long it took me to yeah, I can't believe how long I was talking. It was like crazy. So it's 6 seasons. Reinhardt. Reinhardt also said, Tasha, you're very passionate about shows you like. It makes me excited because I know you just go be all up in the expanse once you get started. Oh gosh. And yeah, Lysandra took off. She said it was a family emergency. You know, when the folks say that when it rains, it pours, because now I gotta get off because now I gotta figure out what just happened with her. I can't I can't so yeah, tomorrow I'm gonna be doing the DMX thing that I didn't do last week. We'll be talking about that. We'll be talking about that documentary, um, and also a little bit more in the real life of DMX. I'm not. I'm not focused. So hey, I appreciate you guys for being here with me. We're gonna do this thing again next week. Uh, and hopefully you can join me tomorrow at 7 p.m. Central for DMX. If not, you'll see me again here before Spider-Man No Way Home and after this week. So talk to you guys later. I'm gotta go check on my friend. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.